Earlier we're saying that Monsi is a modern JP Morgan. She created a bank. Right? We talked about how banks operate, that you think, oh, it's a safe place to put your money, you can have a checking or a savings. What we don't think about as much is how banks subsist, thrive, rule the world because of how they manage your money. They needed to convince the public to put an exorbitant amount of money, like extremely high amount of money, and be loyal to that bank their entire life, generationally, Wells Fargo, Chase. So they had a huge, beyond huge, astronomical amount of money with which to manage, and that's where they make their real money, right, and have their power. So Monsi is one of these people who owns the bank. All right. Now, what do we do next about this? Now, a question that any savvy person would wonder is, what are the banks trading on? What are they managing? What are they investing? What does that management even look like, right? Do you think the banks will willingly share this information with you?
Probably not.
Never.
Never. What they will do is put your money towards the S&P 500, leave it there forever. That's what they tell you to do, right? Getting your measly 4% is up and down, right? We peaked at 9%. Be grateful you got that. That's what they tell people. So like a true magician, watch one hand while I do this to you. Right? Now, one thing that we do differently right off is that we'll tell you there are two vehicles that we use to manage people's money that gets them 20-25% returns. We can share these with you what they are, right? And rather than go there though, what I want is to hear what's on anyone's mind right now as you see an opportunity for yourself to be involved with the bank, with these investment opportunities. Think of your networks. Would anyone like to share?
You know, I hated these chips, and now they're like really good, like really, really good. I don't know. I might just be high. I think I have two questions. First question is, what are these investments that the money is going towards that's yielding these returns? That's my first question. And my second question is, how do I become one of those investments that's yielding those returns?
How do you become an investor in it?
If I were to have an opportunity, let's say, that could yield those type of returns for clients, how do I become one of those? You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
Okay.
All right, I think Monsi can answer these.
absolutely. So, a little background. When I came to America, my mind was blown that the banks give you 0.05% or 0.5%, and they call it a high yield account. Like I get a mail saying, you can open a high yield account now, 0.5%. And it makes no sense. How is 9.3% inflation and you call a 0.5 or 2, even 2% account a high yield account? That's a joke. Like, do the math. Like 9%, 2%, negative 7% is what your money is losing. Okay, so in India, an average savings account will give you about 7 to 8%, and a CD will give you about 12%. Right? So my parents are so used to banking those incomes to do some other, we buy houses or we have other lifestyle money. And then my mom is a hard money lender. And
Can I just add one thing? So generational wealth is a concept that is really strong in India and other countries. In fact, it's one reason why their economies are as strong as they are, right? Just think of how impressive India is to create Bollywood and just do so much, like amazing things come out of India. And China, the generational wealth that we do not have in the US. It's more like you're 18, we're booting you out. You got to go figure it out the same way I did. Right? Small wonder when, it's a cycle. That person 18 turns 70, rendered useless, boot them out, right? This is how we treat one another. Completely different in India.
Yeah, so we think about 7 generations at any given time when we're building something, right? That's how we live. So, long story short, my mom is a hard money lender. When she moved her money outside of bank systems, she would make about 26 to 32%. And I knew that growing up, like she would always do the math, and people would come and put the collateral. There would be like a house paperwork or some Rolex watch or different things that you have to put as a hard money lender to give as a collateral. So I saw all that, and then when I came to America, nothing was making sense because people are constantly trading time for money, running after money, paying bills, highly individualistic. The community is not thriving because people have to constantly, not that they don't want it, they have so many bills to pay, and there is no leverage. Leverage is not taught. That's why delegation is such a hard thing in our country. So
the mic went off.
Going back to what are these vehicles, we found 2 lucrative vehicles that are changing the trajectory of how we can give the income to people. One is land banking, and not just any land that is lucrative, land where we can do rezoning, land where we can guarantee entitlements.
Power on.
Make
Say
sense?
again. Rezoning, and you can guarantee what?
So land is gold right now, especially.
But you can understand.
Yeah, and then
following.
I'm gonna do say
Okay,
again.
cool.
Land that we can do rezoning on, land that we can have entitlements on,
Entitlements.
land
Got it.
where we can get all the paperwork and sell it to a home developer that wants this piece.
Yeah, I think when hearing about this for the first time, I know I was not clear. It took me a few times to get it. And the way that I can best understand it and explain it to others is if you think about any suburb, let's say, well, someone gave approval to build there. It wasn't just an independently wealthy individual that says, oh, I see this land, I'm gonna seize it and then build homes here and sell them to people. No, he had to get permission, right? And someone had to grant that permission. Well, that's who we work with. There's a piece of land that we arrange the purchase of, that's privately owned, and we work with the county concurrently to get it approved. And once it's approved, we sell it to these suburb builders. So a lot of money in building 150 homes that are each going to sell for $1 million, whatever, 700,000, right, for each one. There's a lot of money in terms of having the right to actually put a suburb there. Does this make sense?
And think about this. Why is this the most lucrative piece of the puzzle? After this piece, there's so many different things that go on, right? So the profits, they keep getting shorter and shorter. So when you acquire the land and get it rezoned, that piece of land, when you acquire it, it could be between about $1 million or $1.5 million, and you sell it for $4 to $5 million. That's the chunk right there. After that, a home developer will put lots on it, and then they'll sell it to people as single family homes or multifamily, whatever, condos. Then that developer takes his chunk. Then a lot of people buy those homes, and then they know the STR market or LTR market, right? Short-term, long-term market. That's the Airbnb and different things. And then
Which is what most people do for passive income, is that they'll enter at that level. The Airbnb, I own a house and like I'm gonna rent it out, STR, right, hire cleaners. That's their quote leverage. I think one reason we're having this conversation is to wake people up, to say this is weak leverage. It's like saying that you're rich because you have 100,000 extra or a couple 100,000. What about hundreds of millions?
right. And at the same time, you have to deal with trash, toilets, and tenants. And it's not truly passive. And right now, with the market, with the interest rate, a lot of people are not really making money because the mortgage trumps the returns. rental arbitrage is another way, right? And those are dying down because rental arbitrage is even harder now. So things have shifted, and land is still at the lucrative phase where a lot of influx of communities in Texas, Arizona, Florida is happening. So that single family home land rezoning is really hot in these states. If you say California, it's not so hot because people are not moving like that. Here, the need for multifamily is higher.
All right, so I think we answered the first part of your question. So the second part of the question was, if you were to get involved, what does that look like? Right, like how would you get involved if you wanted to?
No, it was. How is that the only type of your first question? Give me another question.
Oh, okay.
Or your first answer. Is that another? Oh,
You have to
forgot.
hold it
For
on
the
that.
camera. Is that the only type of investment that you guys do? Or do you do other types of investment that may yield that much?
Yeah, that's right. So there's two. So this is the second one she's about to share.
The second one is foreign exchange
What was
currency.
the first one?
Land banking.
Is that the same? Is land banking the same as REITs, like real estate investment trusts?
Yeah, so it depends on what that trust would invest in. We invest in land.
So let's connect the dots. So
I mean, I think actually for confusion's sake, I wouldn't call it land banking. We call it land syndication as well.
clear.
Sometimes we call it land flipping. It's a syndication. So a syndicate, you can take multiple people's money to form a syndicate.
Like this is a syndicate right now. If we decide to do something together and form an LLC, it's a syndicate.
So that's actually relevant
Land
for
lie.
what Keith and I are doing with the King's Quarters concept. Especially, I mean, really both ends, right? Like this first property here locally, it's an investment opportunity for investors, right? And there's dirt, like the land involved, and everything else that comes with it.
Got it.
And then in Costa Rica, it's like already, like my buddy John England, who already did the exact thing. He bought dirt and then developed it, put it into lots, and sold those individually and developed those individually as well. And it's like adds value and profits as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Totally, yeah. So that's one way, and then the second way is we trade foreign exchange currency. So it's a massive decentralized big market, and this is something that never got really famous because it's very hard for normal people to understand. There is stocks, and then there is crypto, and then the currency market has been around for a long time.
Yep.
And about $7.3 trillion are traded every single day on it.
What?
So yeah, it's insane how much paper money is traded, and we're just literally trading the currencies. So whenever the US dollar is bullish, that means it's really doing well. Then you trade with the US dollar, and then if it's not doing well, you trade against it with the other pairs. So there is a lot of major pairs that are money pairs. Like these pairs move, there's volatility, there is enough money, this market's open 24/7. Because when it's shut here on Saturday, it's still open in Asia because Asia is already on a different timeline, right? So the best market to trade is when Europe and America will be overlapping, which is usually at about 3 a.m. to I would say 8 a.m. in the morning, which is literally your making money when you're sleeping. So we have world-class traders who trade these currencies, and they know when to buy, when to sell. It's pretty much buying when it's low, the rates, and then selling when the rates are higher, and there's spreads. So currency market is a little tough market for normal people to understand, but one understood well, a good trader can trade.
And that's what's his name, Michael.
Michael does.
So he's like a genius.
He's a genius, yes. He's a genius
Literally.
trader, just trades currency all day.
He understands that.
Yeah,
so-
I mean, I can attest that he's the Warren Buffett of foreign exchange. He has that rare genius, the type of person who can barely tie their shoelaces, but can make billions from the market, given the resources.
Yes, and that was the fund that we got approved in. So that market is also very lucrative, and we've consistently given people 15 to 22% in last 4 years. So
And it's a skill he's only getting better at too.
yes.
That's what's cool.
Yes, it's insane how we can. So think about this: where is all your money traded and going? These institutions trade your money. When you have your money in the bank, if you want to remove $10,000, they won't. Not these days. They want to tell you that, oh, give us a week notice, right? And I'm like, a week for 10,000? Like that's nothing these days. So a lot of holdup is because they are in trades making money for themselves.
Wait, that's happening? People are getting told they need to wait on their money when it's 10 grand?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the
Well,
time.
then locked up in IRAs too. I mean, this has been a hold up with
Yeah.
some of the investors coming on board, right, with us, is that they're locked up in these high penalty IRAs, or for whatever reason, there just seems to be some impediment why they can't get their money out. Their money
Even the
is
checks,
locked
right?
up.
It takes lengthy timing where all the holdup is them making money. Like if you go to the top floors of the big banks' main headquarters, that's where all the foreign exchange trading is happening.
So foreign exchange, you can verify, is one of the vehicles that these major banks use.
Yes, absolutely, and they're not allowed to talk about it. Like if you open up the topic, they'll say, "Oh yeah, unfortunately, but we don't talk about any of that." Like it's basically a policy to never say anything. What's happening to your money?
How about the land syndication? Do they do that as well?
Well, the land syndication, they don't want us to mass market.
Right, but do the banks do that themselves? These big banks?
No, the big banks don't get into that, but they definitely, what they do is they take your money's in the bank, and through that they have the leverage. And then what they do is they will give you a loan, which is higher, way higher rate than what they give you on the savings, right? So they're constantly leveraging and re-leveraging your own money to give you money and then take money from you. Make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome.
All
Let's-
right, so
let's tie-
AJ, anything else?
John, let's go ahead and tie it up in a bow.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, I just want to check in with AJ is because
I'm good.
you're good.
Beautiful.
All right. So that's a summary of where we're at currently. So if you're watching this, anyone here, we invite you to talk with us further and see how we can work together. Truly, this is a rare opportunity.
And yeah, if you don't have the funds, that's no problem because I started without having any real funds, but just knowing how to match the people together and then what is that partnership looking like for you to create capital out of it is the key.
Let's go. Let's give it up for Mansi and John. Let's get it.
Thanks, everyone.